In this video, we'll meet people working at the vineyard and in the wine business. Remember that we just listened to Mr. Poker and Mr. Lomas at the vineyard. If you don't remember or you fail to listen to the audio, try again. Then try to focus on the differences in how each character addresses his or her boss, his or her friend, or his or her colleagues. We respect Mr. Poker because he knows a lot about wines, and we know that Mr. Lomas is the owner of the winery, and that he's Paul, Liz and Peter's boss. Maybe Mr. Lomas' employees wish to show respect to him, or maybe they wish to keep some distance. So just listen to the audio again and try to identify these ways of addressing other people. So we're going to learn here how to address and how to introduce people. We can see that there are different ways of introducing people, and these ways have to do with the different words that we use to address people, like Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. And the thing that forces that is the social context speakers are in a particular moment. For example, we assume that because we are at a vineyard, we should use informal language. But we have seen that this is not always the case, because for our friends, the vineyard is their working place. We have seen that there are also social aspects, such as hierarchies in the workplace, for example, such as employer or employee relations, or the treatment or respect usually based on how much one speaker knows in relation to the other speaker, or both things. Remember that both Robert and Mr. Poker are in a workplace, as I said before. But the treatment or respect, or the formal and informal uses of language, depends basically on two things. The context and a better knowledge of something. For example, if the context is the army, the hierarchy is very strictly differentiated, and it's based on rank. The speaker has in relation to his or her addressee. Then soldiers or marines must always finish their sentences with a pause, and then the phrase sir or madam, like in yes sir or yes madam. I'm sure that you've heard films featuring this. The context, if the context is, for example, the hospital, then authority comes from knowledge. For example, if you address a doctor, you're not on first name basis. You call him or her Mr. or Mrs. So and so, but if you're referring to a doctor, you call him or her Dr. so and so. The informal situation is the most frequent situation. Note also that there are languages of the world where you cannot address someone without marking how familiar or how close you are to the addressee. Or if you are in the social scale, you are above or below the person you are addressing to. Certain societies that are rigidly organized in social classes, and their languages usually codify this stratification and those languages mark it very clearly. But in English, the most frequent situation is usually the informal situation, but you should know other situations as well. So, summarizing what we've done, basically formal language can be used in two ways: to keep some distance or to show respect. If you keep some distance with your addressee, you use the terms Mr., Mrs. and Miss before the family names. As for example in Miss Ratta, Mr. Obama or Mrs. Baldi. And I do it this way because I respect so much Miss Ratta, the principal at my children's school, or Mr. Obama, in my opinion, one of the best presidents of the USA, or Mrs. Baldi, the author of one of the course reference books from whom I've learned a lot. So here are the references as usual in the grammar that is being used in this course is the Collins Cobalt English Grammar, then the usual course book, the Language of Wine and English course book, and then I wrote a book dealing with things like such as, for example, how to codify distance when you are talking to other people in the codification of meaning in English. And that's all. Thanks for watching.